Hi, everyone. My name is Krista, and I am the administrator with Relivar Home Care. And today we are talking about seniors and fun holiday activities. We thought that this would be an important thing to go over today because it's almost Christmas and we have a lot of things coming up. And a lot of seniors don't have things to do during this time. So, something very important to talk about and give family members some ideas as well. So I also wanted to say that Relivar and Alivity, we are here to help. So if you are having a loved one or yourself struggling at home, working with trying to keep yourself independent, doing your activities of daily living, we can help. We can come in and do medication reminders or take them shopping or do something fun with them over the holidays. And we're here and available. And I'm here with Misty Delegado, who is the
Hey,
owner of Relivar Home Care and Alivity Care Advocates. And then we are also joined today by Sarah from Sarah Care, and also Siriporn is with her as well. So welcome, ladies. Thank you for doing this with us today.
Thanks for having us.
yeah, you guys are like professional activity people because you got to keep your folks working, right? Keep them active.
Yes. Yep.
Keep engaged.
Yeah.
So
So,
that's what we're all about, keeping people engaged. They come to us during the day and they have fun and activities and meals with make friends and have meals with friends, and then they go home in time for dinner. So activities, even though we're medical model adult day, activities is our focus.
yeah. So thanks for that. If you can, Sarah, tell us, a little bit about your company and, how you got started and, tell people what you're about.
Okay. Well, we started going on 15 years ago. We are a medical model adult day program. We we are a national franchise, but I am a Sarah who owns a Sarah Care. So people ask me about that all the time. But we do have a nurse on duty. Some of the things that make us different is that we have a nurse on duty during the day to monitor health. We can take care of people with chronic conditions such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, diabetes, can give insulin. We can help people that are incontinent. Like I said, we are very active during the day. So even though we're a medical model, we are very active and have activities all day long. They're very engaged. They're not home sleeping in front of the TV. Caregivers do not have to be activity directors at home. It's hard, if that's not what you're doing and you're trying to juggle everything. So, you could leave that to us, the experts. And then they go home in time for dinner. So after a full day, they have something to go home and discuss at the dinner table with their loved ones.
Yeah. And, I think the thing people need to understand about your location and what you guys do is number one, being that medical model. There aren't very many folks out there that are a medical model. And you, as the owner, are invested day in and day out in the daycare. You're there and you're, making sure that things get done to the quality level and the standards that are important for you.
And there are medical models out there, but I think when you're asking questions, you need to know what makes them a medical model. Is a nurse oversight or is a nurse on site? Because we have a nurse on site every day.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Big deal. So I'm glad you made that distinction.
Yeah.
And for those folks that want to know more about her particular daycare for seniors, you can go to our Relivar YouTube page, and we have another video that we did with her learning about daycare programs and choosing them and what is important. So for a detailed educational session from Sarah, there's nothing better than going to an owner and learning from the owner what someone should look for. It's worth the investment of your time to go back and just watch that video and learn where you should consider and what questions you should be asking when you're putting your loved one in a daycare. But so thank you so much for that. And we want to kind of get started because holiday activities, holidays can be a very, very lonely time for seniors, right?
Yeah.
And so having some fun activities planned and, or even taking them to the daycare during the holidays, because I'm sure you guys have lots of fun things going on there. So we're excited to learn from you guys, what is important? Why do we do these? What kind of value does it offer the individual? Especially somebody might say, well, they don't have a memory anymore. Why should I do these things? What would you say?
Well, actually, it keeps them engaged, and they don't feel left out. So if you include them into your daily activities, the things that you're doing around the house, I mean, like from doing the laundry, doing the dishes, cooking, and some people say, well, they can't really help you cook. You can't really. It's not safe for them to help you with, preparing for dinner or preparing for a meal or baking and things like that. And it actually is. You give them one task at a time. So, people with dementia still enjoy doing their normal everyday life, folding clothes, cooking. So one thing at a time. So if you want them to fold something, you give them a pile of, laundry, and then just direct one at a time, show them, and then come back and check. You don't have to stand there to look over or watch, constantly. You basically give directions and then come back, and a couple minutes later, you go do your own thing and then come back and check. With cooking, you can join each other during mealtime, like dinner, preparing things, like cutting stuff. So
Sarah Pond had an example here. There are knives that you can get on Amazon. I don't think you're going to be able to see this, but there are knives that they will cut, but they will not cut skin. So if you're worried about somebody, helping and hurting themselves, you can Google just about anything and find something. And also, not only just to keep them engaged, as human beings, I think we need purpose. We need to know we're helping out and contributing. And I think when you're including them in the activities of, helping to fold clothes, helping to prep for meals, it gives them something to do. It gives you a little break, and it gives them purpose. And we all need purpose.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it feel like I said, they feel good helping you, and you can't, you need something cut one item at a time, and you just sit them in the counter where you're prepping, and so you can have conversation, small talks, about old times or anything, having conversation, having to do, and they enjoy doing that. It actually makes the time goes a lot easier, and that way you can keep an eye and have them safe next to you or within eyesight, and then you can still get all of your activities and all of your chores done. So that's one thing. If you need to cut celery, give them celery, show them what it is, and then go do your own thing, and then come back and then do another. It's just kind of like teaching your children to do things one thing at a time.
Yeah.
And baking cookies and stuff like that, they love doing that. And that's what we do here when we do an activity, as like with cooking. We do one step at a time, one task. One person will measure, and one person will mix, one person will blend, and so on. So, and then you do have tools that you can just search. I mean, I'm literal. I will use exactly what I want to find those words. I don't even it's like if I cut without hurting yourself, that's what I write, and they will pop up. It's just easy searching engine on Google. And so and this is from Amazon, and basically they're knives for kids, and they're made of plastic and nylon, so that no cutting.
Okay.
So, and there's
If you want to show those
like
again,
3 sets for $10. So that's something you can do. And you can also do games. So we have games.
Do you want us to go on with some of the items, or?
Yeah, I think I want to make one point. Krista, did you want to say something too?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm gonna make this screen a little bit bigger. So if you guys want to hold up some of the things that you want to show, you can go ahead and do that. The screen's as big as it will get. So
Yeah, and I do
Okay.
want to say one thing, which is, Sarah, you're right. Making sure that, you know, as we age and we're losing our capacity to do things, right? Driving, cooking, caring for the home, you know, paying our bills, all this stuff gets taken away from us. These small tasks that you're suggesting or recommending do give folks purpose, whether it's that, even if it's just that moment, that 10 minutes, that 30 minutes, whatever value that gives them in the day is so critical, because aging can be sad if you're unable to do what you love to do.
Mhm.
So thank you for that.
Mhm.
So yes, let's go through some of the ideas that you have, because I think that's why everybody's coming on and is like, what, I need ideas, because I'm, you know, what does that look like from the professionals? Because you guys are professionals. You guys do this day in and day out at your daycare. So give us your ideas. What do you got going
Well,
on?
we have a couple craft ideas that are simple. We have a couple games that you could either make or play, or you can make yourself, or you can purchase. Trying to make it so you can, and we looked specifically at games that we could do with 2 people or just a few people instead of a larger volume like we would have here. So there's so many things. I mean, we could do hours on this actually, but I'll let Sarah Pond show a couple of the games first.
Well,
Okay,
we'll
good.
just start with some holiday stuff, and this really doesn't, it's not limited to just the holidays. You can find things that, you know, throughout the years, but like matching games is something that, you know, some people would look at it and say, you know, that's just so, you know, it's kid stuff, but you can do look for things that are more age appropriate. But, you know, matching, it's good for the memory, and, you know, you turn over, or, you know, if there's an end stage of, you know, dementia, then you just base it up and just have them pick out, or you can give them a little bit of hints and things like that. So that could be like a matching game. I'm not sure where. So we have this that we use with you know, some of our lower function, you know, cognitively clients.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So basically it's just picture of matching. And then, so that's one of the holiday things that we can do, but you can use any other, you know, go online and look for any other ones, and it's really cheap and reasonable.
I
And
love,
then the next thing,
I love that that is holiday themed, you know, because
Yeah,
we
that's
are
cool.
in the holidays, and, you know, we're trying to figure out things that we can do specifically around the holidays because of all the
right,
wonderful memories that people have surrounding it. So that's cool.
Right. You know, there's I wish I'd brought in, we have a really nice wood puzzle, and there's a stack of different wood puzzles, and the puzzles are shapes instead of you know, a typical puzzle where it's there's red triangles and octagons and squares, and they're putting them on, you know, finding where they go. So it's a little different puzzle. I should probably have grabbed that, but there's a lot of different types of puzzles too, instead of just the standard puzzles where somebody might not be able to do a standard puzzle. They could do a puzzle that requires you to match shapes.
Okay.
it's a dementia related type of puzzle.
Okay.
And you could get ideas online by Googling dementia games and puzzles and going to the Alzheimer's store, alz.org. I believe they have a store there also.
Okay.
Okay, so going on to our next project, you know, craft. It's it's basically, so everybody has a box or two of these. These are old puzzles.
Yes.
There's missing pieces, and like, what do you do with them? So we keep them,
Right.
and we basically, what I do is make it a little bit easier. Instead of just coming up with the shapes, I will go online. I will print out like a shape of whatever it is. That for this one, we did a wreath, so it was like a circle, and they just kind of lay it out, you know, the first layer around the print that on the paper, and then we put glue for the second layer, and then the third layer, how many you want it. You can do a one-on-one, you know, that's really simple gifts. that you can probably have them make for family members and, you know, sign their name to it. Then we let it dry and then paint it and decorate it as, you know, what we want. So we made a wreath and a tree
Yeah, I love that
for the
idea.
holidays. So going on with that, and then we also have a, if you want to do something reminisce, magazine is a great idea. It's a subscription. So you can go on there and I believe every 2 to 3 months, they will send you a magazine. So you have to keep them. There's like about maybe like
Wow.
9 or 10 per year. And it's inside, it's basically people sending in their stories of yesteryears and something that you can read, and it's, you know, an article, and you can go, remember when you did this, you know, or remember when, you know, do you remember when, you know, the TV first came out, what did you have, you know, how many TV did you have, you know, what your family, just conversations that, you know, to jog that memory. And also memory books is good. Like, you know, everybody has a box of old pictures that they have taken that you don't know what to do with. You can pull out some things and then reminisce with it and make it like a little memory book with, you know, you can ask, hey, mom, what were you doing in this picture? You know, what were you, you know, activities, like, you know, how old were you and things like that. And they would be able to tell you. And if not, you know, you can just kind of go with it and give them like a prompt and go, well, remember you were about 20 or 15, you know, 15 or whatever, things like that. So it's the conversation and getting them to engage on telling you about their lives.
I'd
you
like
know.
to say about pictures too. If they do have advanced dementia, saying remember, you know, if they're early stage or mild cognitive, and saying remember when we did this and how fun it was. If they are a little more advanced, it can be stressful when you say remember. So you need to remember for them and say, I remember when I was 10 and you bought me this special doll that I really wanted. That was a really good feeling. Did you enjoy, do you remember feeling that way? Or, you know, just try and eliminate remember as much as you can. It's hard. You know, it's like you really have to relearn how to talk. Like on this, Megan, on this one, there's a story, there's a picture of a girl at the Christmas tree with dolls like in the 1950s. And you could even say, you know, does this bring back any memories for you? What do you think was happening in this picture? You know, if you were to look at this picture, what do you think happened? What do you think led up to this picture? Or what do you think is going to happen after she's sitting here? You know, what do you think would happen next? So it can be engaging, and you can make up stories together with, you know, just looking at a picture. You can spend quite a long time on pictures, just making up stories.
Sure. That's a great
Mhm.
point. And, you know, I think too, what would that magazine would be beneficial for is if they have a caregiver, and sometimes our younger caregivers, like they're in their 20s, have a difficult time having a conversation with somebody who has memory loss in their 80s or 90s, you know? So it gives them some prompting for where to start out at or questions to ask. You know, this is a skill that needs to be learned.
And
Right.
sometimes people will make photograph books, you know, of families to help them remember. And it's good to put, like, if you have somebody else coming to visit them, if you have the name and the relationship underneath, they can have a conversation instead of saying, who's that? And they're like, I don't know. You know, you could say, oh, look at that's Joe, and that was your brother that looks about 1950. It looks like you guys had a really cool car. You know, you can engage the conversation instead of them trying to recall when they can't recall.
Right. Great point. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's an excellent idea. I have not seen that book before, but I can
Well, it's just, you know, and
understand.
doing like you could be fancy with it and do it with the what do you call it with the when you're making photo books? But scrapping, I mean, you can do scrapbook.
Scrapbook.
And that's a project you can do together while reminiscing about pictures and putting all that information to help them remember.
Yeah.
Or else you could just do photographs and just put little captions in there.
Yeah.
As they're forgetting, it'll help them to remember, because pictures really do help you remember.
Yeah, you're like,
Even for us.
even for us, absolutely. And you know, the whole idea
Yeah.
of telling somebody, do you remember that question? I remember years ago, I had a young gal and she was just so smart. She'd remember everything. So she would say that to me. And I finally was like, stop saying that to me. I go to sleep and I clear my memory banks. I've like started a new day. Don't do that.
It's hard, and it's like, we say that word a lot to remember, and we have to catch ourselves
Yeah.
too.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
And
Yes.
depending on where they're at. And then Siriporn had some great
Okay,
games
so
too.
these are some of the homemade ones. And this really, during the holidays, let's say you have the whole family over and there's the little kids, with it, and you want grandma or grandpa to join in. So we made this. This is basically, it's just a game board that's, number from 1 to 12. So it's a dice game, and we call this game flip flop. So we use 2 dice, and you roll them, and basically it's just like you have to use both your dice. So you have to use both every time you roll them. And if you have, and the name of the game is to get rid of all of your numbers, cover it up with you need dice and chips, and 2 dice and chips, the 12 chips. And basically you just take turn rolling. And if you roll a 4 and a 6, you have to decide whether you want to do cover up a 10 or a 4 or 6. So there's a little bit of strategy going. And it's fun for the kids who are, the younger kids. They can help out grandma and grandpa, or, it's just a fun game. And then you can reminisce and talk while you're playing. Our clients love this game. They laugh more than play the game. So it's more like a tool. So you have to think of games as a tool to have conversation,
Yes.
and visit with grandma and grandpa and things like that. So this is it's something that's cheap. You just print out a couple of these sheets and 2 dice and a whole bunch of chips and poker chips, and everybody has that and somewhere in the back closet.
And
so
this is one of my favorite games. It's called Slapsy. Slapsy. When they're playing this, there's a lot of laughter too. And I probably have Siriporn explain better, but go ahead.
So basically you have stacks in the box. There's pictures on both sides and with the name on it, and then you have a question stack. So basically you can also have the whole family plays with that too. And this is also another fun game that our clients love, because they try to trick us and try to cheat and try to get rid of their cards. So you basically give them like 7 cards, or how many cards that you want. You can set your own, and then you will ask them and said, okay, later that you are.
Yes,
That,
lighter than you are.
So it's like, something that you have in front of you in the picture. What is lighter than you are? And then you pass that particular. So if you have a balloon in front of you, then you give the balloon. But some people try to, cheat and do something else and said, hey, what about this? They're like, what about this chair? And I'm like, is it lighter than you? Or whatnot. So it's just an argument. It gives them to like argue with you and a little fun debate. Yeah.
Okay. No bantering going on.
One of my favorites was something that belongs on a desk, and somebody had feet. And so the group was like, do feet belong on a desk? And some were like, well, yeah, you could like put your feet up on the desk. And others were like, no, your feet don't belong on the desk.
Yeah. So it's kind of gives them a little bit of, and everybody in the group would, would kind of chime in and said, oh, no, you can't do that. Oh, yeah, you can. There's some part of them would agree with, and then, they try, come on, give them the points, and so, and it makes it a really good game and conversation and laughing. Laughter is the best medicine. Everybody should laugh 10 times, 100 times a day. So that's what we, are all about.
That's
so
right.
As long as you leave here and you're happy, then we're good.
That's right.
And so we also have this game that we also made this. You have It's basically a cards, and so this game we call Pokino. And if you look up Pokino, it's basically it's it's a big card, kind of like a bingo game. So you need a deck of cards, some chips, and a game. And it's very simple. It's only 4 cards. So it's real simple game and real easy. And you just kind of draw a card, and then you call out, just like bingo. It's another form of bingo game, but we use
Okay.
cards instead. So, and it's called Pokino. So that's
Okay.
that
we
is
didn't bring
also
in
a
the,
fun one.
We didn't bring in the clothespin game.
Oh, and also we do like a rainbow game. So basically it's called Rainbow Dice. But I forgot to bring it in for you, but basically we make that. So we color code our clothespins to the color. So you can have like 6 different colors. Blue, green, yellow, correlated with the number on your card. And so the red will go with 1, yellow would go with number 2, and then you roll the dice, 1 dice. So if you roll 1, then you put the color that's correlated with the color on your play card and clip it on there. So it takes about like a good, half hour of your time to play, but it's a fun game. And you can also, eliminate it. So if people can't, if you can't tell the colors, then you can eliminate, roll the dice and go, okay, take down, you rolled a 1, take out the 1, take out the 2. So things like that. So it's kind of fun. It's really, some of our lower cognitive clients like that game a lot, but even the higher function, cognitively, they love it. It's just like I said earlier, it's just another form of a tool for a great conversation.
Sure.
We're gonna bring that back in a little bit, so they went to go get it so we can show it to you a little better.
Okay. And also everybody knows of the game LCR. It's also another dice game that the
LCR.
whole family could play with, and so it's an LCR.
Oh,
Left, right,
LCR.
center.
Yes.
Yes. So it's basically you need the 3 left, right, and center dice and some chips. You get whatever 3 chips, and then you just kind of roll around and follow what the dice tell you to do. So that's a game that grandma and grandpa could also play with, or mom and dad, and the whole family, and it's still fun, and you're still including your family member with dementia. You know what I mean? It's just a fun tool so that they can be with you and not be, eliminated or not being separated, excluded from the family fun.
Right.
So it's just, and this is not really a Christmas kind of game. You can play it any time you get together, and it's a fun thing. And you include grandma and grandpa too, so they're not sitting in a corner or on the couch watching TV.
When my dad had Alzheimer's, and I remember him saying, when we had family get-togethers, he said, everybody talks around me. So it's very important. You can't be asking them to remember, but you can be talking in ways that include them. Just talking, directing the conversation while you're looking at them includes them. So you just need to, we all get excited and we're sharing stories, and if they're not able to keep up, then they're going to get excluded. You also have to remember, if somebody has cognitive impairment, to talk a little bit slower to include them. So when you're getting excited with the group, it's easy to forget that. So talk slower, include them, look at them. So it's good. And also, not holiday related, but if you are going out for the holidays, if you're going out with couples, it's hard to go out with just one other couple. If somebody's not used to going out and being with somebody with dementia and how to have a conversation and keep the conversation going, it could be really hard. But if you go out with 3 couples, now the 2, say it's a male in the group, the other 2 men can have a conversation and include them without relying on them participating much in the conversation, and it's more comfortable for everybody. the person with cognitive decline that's not going to be stressed about trying to come up with answers, and the person that, you know, doesn't have dementia or cognitive impairment that's trying to keep the flow going. So 3 people, 3 couples is much easier than 2.
Oh, that's a great tip. You know, one of the things I've noticed, even with one of my clients who has late stage dementia, along that same line is the slower I talk,
Mhm.
the more she'll understand what I'm saying, and I may have to go at this pace.
And lower tone helps too.
Yeah, and I've got to be in the right ear because she's hard of hearing in one ear, and she'll respond to me. And I notice with her caregivers in her community, they look at me like I don't understand, but many times I don't understand either. But if I capture one word, like if she said sunshine, if I repeat that word back to her, she feels like she's understood. We understood what she said, even though, you know, she only got one word out of 6 that made, you know, verbally that I could understand. So, yeah, and especially I think the point you're making is that family parties, they can feel excluded.
Right.
And that we have to do things to make them feel included, like playing the games or speaking to them or looking at them when we're talking. I think that's what you're saying.
And I think, you know, Misty makes such an excellent point. You know, it's like you don't have to understand everyone for somebody to feel noticed and accepted. You know, if you keep saying, I don't understand, what are you talking about? I don't get it. You know, say it again, say it again, say it again. You know, it's stressful. Where if you say, oh, yeah, it is sunny out today. You're right. I didn't notice that. You know, you can make it into a conversation.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a very good point. Siriporn does
Okay.
have the game.
So so this was the rainbow dice. So basically it's color coded. So, and that's another activity as well. You can have mom or dad help paint those. So we did that in,
This is a cutout.
yeah. So, and when we just make, you can just print out anything and make any pictures on there as you want. And they painted these, our participants, you know, that was one of our activities. We painted all the pins, and then they're enjoying using it on a daily basis. So this is something that we do. And it's a fun game. It really is. And especially with the little kids, if you have younger kids that you want, you know, to interact with grandma and grandpa during the visit, something that they can do and talk about and play, that would be something that, you know, you can use.
Sarah, I have a question about that. Can you lift that back up and kind of go through it one more time? Is that a pot of gold?
That's a pot of gold because it's rainbow. So
Okay.
it's a rainbow dice game.
Okay,
So we have a pot of
one
gold.
more time.
Now that when they get the 1, they're putting the clip on the 1.
Oh, okay.
Or pulling it out for those that are it's sometimes it's kind of confusing to put the clip on. So we pre-clip it, and then if we, you know, lower cognitive clients will pull it out. So they would roll a 1 and said, okay, you roll a 1, pull out the clip that's on a 1. And that's a lot easier to just eliminate instead of add, because if you leave it, they don't know where to go, you know, where to clip. But if you said, hey, you roll a 1, let's take the 1 out, and then they pull out the 1.
Yes.
So, and so on.
Okay.
So this is something that is fun, and it's for anybody really, even the higher cognitive clients will play that and they love it. And this is more of a dementia puzzle that Sarah had mentioned earlier about pieces and shapes. So we have like a bag of different colors, and there's pictures. So you can look online and buy this, and you can have that. And basically, and you just place the, you know, the shape on the spot of the color. So you match the colors and the shapes to the picture. And there's no, you know, a house, a people, flower. So they're kind of like geometric shapes, which is it's something that will keep them in focus for you know, I mean, a half an hour is a good half hour spent if they're doing something that they're, you know, engaging in. So,
It's an activity they
Yeah.
can do themselves. So if you need a little break yourself, it's something that they can do on their own.
Is there a certain cognitive level that would not be able to do that?
you know what? I think pretty much everybody could use, I mean, as long as they can pick up the pieces, you can always, leave them alone and have them work, and if come back and check. Well, that's what we do when we're trying to have them do and be independent and doing an activity.
Okay.
And then we would check on them. And, everybody will be in there. Nobody's ever left alone, but we could help someone else at this table while one person is another table. And there's really anybody could. We've tried it with clients who doesn't even like speak to us or anything like that, but they'll sit and do this puzzle for a long time.
I have a little story about that actually. With these games where you're matching, it depends on the part of the brain that's affected, right? So I had somebody once, I wanted to do a little game, and I just did like four turned up the other way because I thought it'd be easy that they could flip it and match it. And I had a gentleman that had wonderful verbal skills, could carry on great conversations, great verbal skills, but he could not match. And then I'd have some that were nonverbal and they were great at matching. They could find a lot more cards, So I think it's getting to know them and what part of the brain is affected on what their skill set is. And that's what a lot of times we do a lot of small groups, because we put people in their, level of ability.
Mhm.
Or they like to have conversations. We want to put them with others that enjoy conversations. So you kind of get to know what they're able to do and not do, and kind of try and focus on their assets.
So you could have, like, I remember one client we took care of, we had a jar of coins and their job was to separate them so we could put them into sleeves. So
Right.
someone like that surely would be able to do both of these types of activities.
Right. And sorting is I mean, even if you have kids with Legos and you just say, Mom, I really need to sort these by color so I could put them away. Could you sort these Legos out for me by color? Or coins, or different sorting. It has purpose. It's not childlike necessarily, depending on what you're picking. And it's helpful. They have a purpose. So there's all kinds of things to do like that too. Another thing about magazines, if they have an interest, if you look for magazines, say they like cars and they grew up as a mechanic and working on cars, buying magazines that are, whatever type of cars they like, sports car, it's something nice for them to look through. If you have a lot of magazines, another art thing that we've done here is getting a poster board and drawing a scene on it and putting like a pine tree and writing green on it, and a house and writing white and brown where the roof goes. And they could rip those colors out of the magazine, and then you're gluing them with a glue stick to those colors. And when you're done, you have a picture.
Oh,
And that's simple, and it's something you could do with old magazines if you have a lot of them. So
sure.
all kinds of things you could do.
Yeah, the most important thing though, I would have to share is that don't stress. You shouldn't stress to try to find activities for, your loved ones to do. It's something that, just look what's around the house, things you can find. Really, you just have to kind of use a little bit of imagination, and just don't over stress, because that makes it a bad day for you. And then and believe it or not, they can feel. I know that a lot of our clients, sometimes when we come in and we're like so anxious about something and we're like, busy doing other stuff, they're like, are you okay? You're
Yeah,
a
they
little
pick up on
stressed.
that.
They really do pick up on our feelings and motion.
What's your favorite
So-
saying about the outcome?
It's it's the journey to basically it's just a journey. It's not really the ending product. So it could look, did you have fun doing it? I don't care what it looks like at the end, but
Yes.
it's the journey. It's like, did you enjoy?
Right.
The
So
other thing I'd like to, Siriporn, tell them your credentials. I just, she really has a good experience. So I'm like, I'd like her to tell. them
Yeah,
her
I'm
credentials.
actually a nationally licensed activity director, and I also am trained in dementia and also in adult day programming. So
wow.
it's been fun. I've been doing this for about probably over 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Plus. So it's kind of my passion. It's really, it's my passion. Sarah had asked me to be behind the desk a lot of times. I'm like, no, I want to be in front. This is what I like to do. This is what I love. I like the interaction with the clients and, and seeing their smile and making them happy. So this is
And
what
our
Good
participants.
for you that you do that.
yeah. So and I mean, there's just a world of activities out there. You just have to kind of look at it. I mean, what we do here, I can look at things that the kids are working on, and then you just kind of make it into age appropriate. So just be to, keep in mind that it's not to do things that are, not of age. So you can use the little kids activities, but make it more adult and to fit their age group. So, and making them feel like they're not being treated as a child. And that is the most important key.
Really important. That's a great point. And, it's great to hear that, this is your mission and your passion. And Sarah, you're lucky to have her. That's
I know it.
great. You're a blessing to her and all you call them participants or
Yes.
okay. All right. And, it's good knowing that you don't have to stress over this, because if you are stressing, then you're probably not going to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish with making it fun and, enjoying the journey. So many times we rush. And we don't want to make it stressful for the person that's having to,
Right.
kind of manage everything else. They already have a lot on their plate.
It's stressed on your loved one too with dementia. They can feel. They can feel your feeling and your behavior, your body language.
Right.
So you want to eliminate that and just go with the flow and have fun. And that's it. The key is fun.
Right.
And not everybody is cut out to do activities at home. My husband, when my in-laws lived with me, my husband would say, I am not a social director. So it was not his thing. He was trying to work out of the home. So it's not meant for everybody. And that's where we can come in, or having somebody come to the home. If you have a home health aide coming in, give them a project. You can set it up and have someone else, like a home health aide, do it with them, so, and that could be very helpful, to your home health aide to have a project to do with them. And then now you have somebody engaged, so, always look at what's stressing you out and the simplest way to resolve it.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. Sometimes we get family members who say, well, the caregiver and, the client are just sitting watching TV all day. However, we don't really have the tools. We're not activity directors like Siriporn, they're caregivers, and they're there to provide assistance with showering, bathing, meal preparation. That's their pool. And, some that are been in it for many years will have some of the other skills to do or prepare activities in advance like this. But you're right. I think, Sarah, to have them, even if it's take a break and go to the daycare for a day, they're confident, they're going to have fun, they're going to be well cared for, and their loved one is going to get a break. There's so many ways to get assistance with helping that get paid, or, and it's not that costly to go into the daycare program for a day here or there, or even all week long, for the value, I think, overall that you get out of it.
And I'd like to mention, we are a vendor for the VA. So we are a direct vendor. So the VA will pay us directly. We are also a vendor for Medicaid waiver programs. Our private pay is a very reasonable day option. We work very well with home care, where if somebody's having troubles getting them up and to the center, you can have a home health aide come in, get them up, get them ready, bring them in. and the family then could just pick them up at the end of the day. And then home health can be in the evenings and weekends, and we could be a couple days a week, so that they're getting out and being active. You know, getting them out of the home and to Sarah Care is the hard part. Getting them out of the home and coming to Sarah Care and being engaged is also the good. The hard and the good, the difficult and the good are the same, because getting out of the home it's important to be social and active and physically getting out and moving, and not just going to the bathroom to the chair, to the bathroom to the chair.
Right.
So it gives you a better quality of life.
Absolutely.
And even if they don't engage in when they're here in a facility, it's just watching and interacting without actually interacting with other people, like sitting and watching all the commotion and all the activities and everybody moving around and doing things. That kind of put you in that person in that mode of like, oh, I better participate. So I kind of give them an incentive to, like, you know, it maybe not the first day. So we usually give our clients at least a week or two to get used to how things runs around here, how all the activities and how the the process of the day goes. And then usually, you know, about 2 or 3 third day in, they're kind of warming up to us. Now, I'm not saying that everybody is that way, but the majority of our clients will. And then you can see some people will, you know, said, oh, wow, I see a change, you know, he's moving more, or he's talking more, or, you know, he's sharing more things, not just sitting.
Our families frequently tell us, boy, you know, you could tell after they've been at Sarah Care for a day, they're really on for a day or two, and then they kind of decline again, you know. So that engagement and being socially active is so important.
You know, just watching things that's going along in the facility, you know, because we do move a lot, and we, you know, we laugh and people would make jokes. You know, some of the people used our platform as, you know, as their platform where they would tell us jokes and kid around. And so it's, you know, it's a both ways. You know, we give them a little bit of a leeway or a little bit of hint and tips, and then they'll use that and, you know, and engage with us. So it's a fun place to be, you know, and as you know, it's, you know, with people, it's a lot more happier place to be than sitting at home all by yourself. You
Yes.
know,
Good combination. You know, I have to laugh. I bought Siriporn has a Friday shirt says Chaos Director. Lots of small groups, you know, it can be a little chaotic.
yeah,
but-
they use my shirt when I wear it. They go, "Oh, you're the chaos director." I'm like, "Yep."
Well, I think one important thing you guys are saying too is that to honor the person's needs,
Exactly.
so that if they just have enjoyment watching what's going on and they don't want to engage, that's okay too.
Right.
Because I have a client who just likes to in her community, just likes to sit in the kitchen and watch all the activity going on, and that brings her joy. And if that's what brings her joy and she's calm and content, well, that's what we're trying to get to. There are some games that she engages in. Her favorites, you know, are, you know, taking one of those noodles that they use in the pools and hitting, you know, a balloon with. That's her favorite because she can whack it to the other.
Yeah, we do that here.
You know? But, you know, other games she doesn't really engage in, and that's okay. See, it needs to be okay with the family that they're not doing something for that whole 5 or 8 hours that they're there, you know.
My mom used to say, she'd come and she'd say, Sarah, they don't have to be busy all day. Just sitting and talking with others is an activity also. And it is just having somebody coming into the home and talking with you, or coming here and having a group of friends. We had a lady, I put it on Facebook, our Facebook page last week. Her friend had been gone off for a while, had a procedure and was off for a little while. And when she saw her, she literally ran across the room to give a hug. And I'm like, oh, that was just heartwarming to me, you know? So having friends, you know, coming in and visiting or going out and meeting friends, it's just important, you know, no matter what stage of life or cognition you are.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just giving them a little bit of encouragement, you know, it's like we encourage you to participate in group because I think it's you can get more out of the program and you're enjoying it more. Sitting and doing things on your own is it's okay for a little while, but we do come back and encourage you and say, come on, let's invite. So when you're needed and people are asking you to join in a group, it makes people feel happy and like they're wanted. So it's an encouraging part of it for them to continue to improve and getting better and joining into and being more active.
Right.
Yes, Sarah, is there any other thing you wanted to make sure you touched base on with activities or interactions or?
No, I think you guys did great. I think the activities that you have were unique. Most families wouldn't think of those. I love the fact that what you had were not costly, for the most part. And I so appreciate the time that you spent with us. Thank you, Sarah and Siriporn.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate the time you spent today.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having us.
All right. Well, and happy holidays.
Yeah,
you as
same
well.
to you.
All right, you guys, take care.
Take
All right,
care.
bye-bye.
Thank you.